Fine. So, welcome to the first day. Okay, this first day would just be an introduction. We'll see how to what is basically Java and Selenium, and we'll configure Selenium in our systems. Okay, this is what we are going to do on the first day, and we'll study some of the OOPS concepts if time permits. Right. So now, basically, in introduction, I always start up with the introduction of Selenium as a tool and what is the future of this tool, where is it going, and what is the current demand of this tool in the market. Okay, before I start up with the downloading everything and configuring everything, let's see with Selenium. Selenium, look, when I worked, I really don't know when it was exactly released, but I worked on it for the first time somewhere in 2006 ending or 2007. Okay, so it was at that time there was something known as Selenium RC. Okay, you had three components basically. Okay, one was RC, one was IDE, and one was grid. Okay, there used to be three components of Selenium. RC and IDE. IDE is still used. RC is outdated. Okay, IDE was a tool which was a primarily record and run tool. It's still there, but I never use it. Record and run. Every tool has this option. Even if you open UFT. Okay, right. And even if you open any other tool, right, IBM, right, this will be a primarily the feature of record and run would be there in every tool, but not used because the websites today, they are changing dynamically. Okay, if you talk about a website like Microsoft.com, every day the updates they come on the website UI changes, so you cannot just use record and run. Moreover, IDE only works on Mozilla browser. There is no other browser it supports, and it generates no reports. Okay, no reports, nothing. Right. And moreover, if you have say 1000 test cases, if you have to run, you cannot use IDE. Okay, practically you can never use IDE. Right, so that's why these guys, ThoughtWorks was the company which made Selenium. Okay, it came up with the tool known as RC. RC was very dynamic in nature. Okay, dynamic in the sense it could test dynamic websites, right? Websites which change every day, but a tester had to learn a programming language like Java, Ruby, Python, Perl, PHP. Okay. Fine, and RC used to test everything. What they did was, I'll tell you what they did. They made the core of Selenium RC in a language known as JavaScript. Okay, well, how how the core of RC works, or how the core of Selenium WebDriver also works. The core, hold on. This is Selenium. Okay, the core of Selenium is made in a language known as JavaScript. JavaScript is a language of browsers. Selenium automates browsers. Okay, Selenium automates web-based applications. Okay, all the browsers, they understand a common language. The language is known as JavaScript. With JavaScript, you can automate the browsers and all. So the core of Selenium WebDriver or RC, right, it's made in JavaScript, and the shell around it, what Selenium guys did, they put a wrapper around it. The wrapper was in a language like say Java or C# or Ruby or Python, many languages. So whether you write code in Java, whether you write code in C#, Ruby, Python, any language, that code, whatever coding you do, it gets converted to JavaScript commands inside Selenium. Okay, right, and those JavaScript commands are executed on the browsers. So that is why Selenium is available in multiple languages. because eventually whatever command you fire in any language, that command gets converted into a JavaScript command which gets fired on the browser. Okay, right. So RC was dynamic, that's why it was available in multiple languages. It could work on all the browsers because JavaScript works on all the browsers. But there were few drawbacks in RC. Okay, first of all, the features were not so many in this tool. There weren't so many features, right? And there used to be a server in RC which you used to start, then stop and run RC. At times the server never used to get stopped properly, so it never got start up again. So you had to log off your system, log in again. So there were various problems, and that's why somewhere near August 2011, WebDriver came in the market. It's also known as Selenium 2.0. Now WebDriver is completely different than RC. Don't think that you have to learn RC and then WebDriver. The concepts are very different. Okay, and WebDriver has got many more features than RC. Right, it's dynamic. It also works on all the browsers and all. Right, IDE is still there. It is used. WebDriver is used, and Grid has now modified to Grid 2. Grid 2 supports WebDriver. So in this course, our focus is primarily to learn these things. One is we'll be learning WebDriver, we'll be learning Grid 2. Okay, right? So this is the focus: Java, WebDriver, Grid, frameworks, and all. Okay, a question is being asked: is it the possibility to cover Cucumber implementation? Look, Satish, Cucumber, let's see by the end of the course, because to be very honest, not everyone wants Cucumber. Okay, it's covered in the online video tutorials as well. Let's see by the end of the training if we can do it. We will certainly do it, right? That's not a problem. Okay, right. So this was about the overview of Selenium, and now where Selenium is going. Okay, now these days there's the tool known as Appium. It's got very famous. It's for mobile automation. It can automate your browser as well as mobile app. Okay, this tool is built on top of Selenium. Okay, if you don't want to learn Appium, you can actually just learn Selenium first and then learn Appium. Selenium is a tool which only works on browsers. The official website of Selenium, if you just a minute, if you go to the official website of Selenium, which is seleniumhq.org, yes. I'll just accept few requests. Yeah, so over here the first line says Selenium automates browsers. Fine. Okay, now if you want to learn it properly, go to the download link and you will see this is the Java version. This is the Java version of Selenium. You can download it from this link, and this is the documentation, Java doc. Okay, if you go here, then if you don't know object-oriented programming concepts properly, you will not be able to understand it. So you need to know the object-oriented programming concepts, then only you will be able to understand this documentation properly. Okay, so we'll first start with basics of Java, right? And just a minute. Right, so we'll start off with the basics of Java. There are people in this course who don't know Java a lot, so I'll be starting with the basics, but at least I am assuming that you know basics of programming language. Okay, by saying that, I am assuming you know what if statement is, what loops are, like for loops, what variables are, integers, strings and all, what functions are. Okay, so I am assuming this basic thing. If you don't know this, then don't join the training directly. Get the video access first and then join the training by paying the remaining fees. Okay, right. There's a question being asked, can we download the training videos? No, you cannot download the training videos. You will be having an online access. Okay, it's a permanent access. Alright, so now over here, I cannot send him the link right now. If I think he's from HP, so anybody from HP, if they can give Moses the link, I had sent him the link, that will be great, because I'll have to unshare my desktop to send him the link. Right, so okay, so fine. The first thing is you need to download Java. Okay, so I'll just go to Google and you need to install JDK. Right, most of you must be having JRE on your systems. Okay, download JDK. Please download JDK. It is important. Right, go to the first link over here and install JDK, Java platform. Okay, click on this download link and install it from this bundle. Don't go for the first one, go for the second one, and over here this is for Windows 64-bit in the end. You can download from here. Okay, second is you need Eclipse. Eclipse is the editor of Java language, and you please use Eclipse Luna. Okay, go to Google and search for Eclipse Luna. Fine, and just go here and download Eclipse Luna. Right, and this is the download link. Fine, you can download it. It comes as a bundle. You don't need to install it. Okay, once you have downloaded it, you just go to your PC, Eclipse, right, and you will have this application file. Okay, start Eclipse from there. You don't need to install it. Right, just 1 minute, guys. So when you start Eclipse, you get a window like this. This is known as the workspace window. Okay, this is the path where we'll be storing all the code which we make in Eclipse. Right, most of you would be knowing it, so just bear with me for initial time. Okay, I'll start from the basics. So you give the path over here and click on OK. So whatever code we make in the training, we'll be making in this workspace, and it will be available in your account as well. When you log in into your account, you will be able to see the batch recording, and it will be, you can download the code from there as well. Okay, so just a minute, let Eclipse open up. Hold on. So meanwhile it opens. Okay, it's open now, so you can close the welcome screen. Sorry, it will look like this. Right, so this is on the left hand side is the project explorer. We'll be keeping the projects over here. Fine, let's create a new Eclipse project. Eclipse is editor for Java. It's a very helpful editor. Okay, so I'll just create a new Java project, new other, under Java. You will see Java project. Okay, and I'll call it as day 1. Fine. Now when you create the Java project, you will see that this is the project. Okay, now in this project what you need to do is you need to write all the Java code in the source folder. Okay, so if I just give you an overview of basics of Java, then I'll create a new class over here in source folder. Right click, you create a new class. Class means a Java file. Okay, I'll just tell it the name as basics. So as I told you, I am assuming you know the basics of programming. For example, just 1 minute, I'll increase. Is my voice breaking, guys? Please let me know.
Yeah, your voice is breaking.
Okay, fine. Give me 5 minutes. Right, just give me 5 minutes. I'll fix this. So as I said, you must, I'm assuming you know what an integer is, what a string is. String s equals to say hello, what arrays are, right, and what loops and if statements, if and for or while. Okay, right. So the basic thing in Java, okay, the basic command in Java to print something is system.out.println. Okay, you can give this command like this, and I'll just type Selenium class over here. Okay, system.out.println SYSO and hit control spacebar. Okay, right, and when you run this, it will print that. But our motive is not to learn these things. Our motive is to learn Selenium. Okay, to learn Selenium, you need to learn object-oriented concepts. Okay, right. So we'll be concentrating on object-oriented concepts as well. Right. For example, just a minute. If you look at the project, okay, right now project has got JRE system library. JRE system library is nothing but a set of certain jar files. Okay, you can use the pre-existing functionalities from these jars. These jars are the Java jar files. These jar files have got pre-built functionalities which you can use when you make the Java programs. Right. For example, if I print over here system.out.println new date. Okay, right, I will import the date class. It needs to be imported java.util.date. Okay, it needs to be imported on the top, right? And if I run the program, you can run it from this icon on the top, run basics, right? You will see that the current date is printed. Fine, you see that the current date is printed. Now just by writing new date, I was able to print the date. What is this new? Just don't be confused with it right now. We'll tell you. Okay, look, a date class is the one. It's an inbuilt class. It's somewhere in these jar files. It's a pre-built feature which I can use to get the current system date along with the time zone, year, month, day, everything. Okay, so I never had to put my own efforts. So similar thing is with Selenium. Everything is inbuilt. Okay, this is on the official website of Selenium, right? As I told you, the documentation is present in Java docs. The documentation is present. So this documentation, right, primarily holds all the classes, inbuilt classes of Selenium, right? So everything is already made for you in Selenium. There is no rocket science, or there is nothing which you have to make from yourself. You need to understand this, understand the commands, and understand how to use those. Alright, and apply your own logic. Okay, so the way I created the object of date over here, just like that. Fine. So these are the Java jar files which are there in the project. For Selenium, you have got Selenium jar files. Okay, these jar files, the Selenium jar files are provided by the people who have made Selenium, ThoughtWorks. Okay, Selenium is not installed. It's configured in your project. You need to download it. Okay, when you download it from this link, download link, okay, you will get all the jars for the current version, which is 2.49 version for the WebDriver. Okay, if you hold on, D drive, yeah, I have it over here, right? And in out here you will have these two jar files when you download this package, zip file, and along with that, in the libs you will have many other jars as well. Okay, right? You can ignore this sources.jar. This holds the source code of Selenium. Selenium is open source, free of cost. Anybody can download the source code. So just ignore the last one, the sources jar file. What you need is, you need this jar file and other jars which are present in the lib folder. You need to put them in Eclipse. Okay, you need to import them in Eclipse. To import the jar file, when you import the jar files of Selenium in Eclipse, you will be able to work with the inbuilt classes of Selenium. Okay, inbuilt features of Selenium, right? And your project will become Selenium enabled. There is no exe for Selenium. Okay, so you right click on the project, fine, and go to the properties of the project, the last option. Right, there will be many options on the left hand side. Go to Java build path. Okay, the third from the top, and you will see various tabs over here. Alright, go in the libraries tab. Okay, the libraries tab is present, the third tab from the left. Okay, you will see the JRE system library or Java already present over here, and you can add the, click on this button, add external jars, right? Add the jar files and add the main jar. Also all the jars under lib. Okay, don't forget the jars under lib, right? And click on OK. You will see this referenced library section generated. So this is for Selenium jar files. Right, make sure you are in the Java perspective of Eclipse to see this reference libraries. Right, Java perspective means that there is a small icon on the top over here, this icon. Okay, click on this and select the Java perspective. Okay, then you will see the reference libraries. Right, and these are the Selenium jar files under it. Okay, now you can use Selenium commands. For example, one of the Selenium commands if I use is new Firefox driver. So you can import the class, move the mouse over the error and import Firefox driver on the top, right? And when you run it, you will see that a blank Firefox browser opens up. So you never performed any any kind of a big long code, or you never wrote a code to click on the exe for Firefox, right? Or start the exe for Firefox, right? So everything I mean to say is inbuilt, and you need to understand object oriented concepts. Okay, so that's what our focus now is, the concept of object oriented programming, right? So sorry, what is OOPS and how it is helpful, right? Taking a simple example, what do you mean by creating the object of a class, right? I'll create a new class. Let's go to Java now, right? I'll talk about objects, what they are. Fine, suppose I create a class known as school, right? Now what are the features of a school? Maybe you can have the string name of the school, int number of students in the school, right? So these are the two features of the school. What are the functions of a school? For example, public void say examination, right? So this is one of the functions of a school. Okay, so technically this is known as a global variable, non-static global. Okay, let me come over to this later on. So basically these are some of the features of the school: the name of the school, number of students in the school, and examination. Right. So over here, right, suppose I make a new, or if I go to basics.java, right, and out here in basics.java, let me comment out the complete code. You can comment out the complete code or disable the complete code with this sign slash star and star slash. Okay, so over here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create object of school class. So how do you do that? You write new school. Many of you must be knowing this, right? So you can create many objects of this class. Technically in the memory, say I am creating 3 objects. Okay, so if I create 3 objects, then just 1 minute, what happens in the memory is that 3 objects are created like this. Every object will have all the features of the class, that is the school, that is name of the school, number of students, and examination function. Every object will have the 3 parameters. Okay, right, even the third one. But you cannot access these objects. To access these objects, you need to have object reference. Okay, you can write over here, say school S1 equals to new school, school S2 and S3. So S1, S2 and S3 are not objects. S1, S2 and S3 are the references to the object school. This is S1, this is S2, and this is S3. So with S1, S2, S3, you can change the state of the object. Okay, you can change the values of the variables and all. Suppose I write over here S1 dot name is, say, school S1 or school, say, ABC. S2 dot name is XYZ. S3 dot name is, okay, any name. So even the other variables like S1 dot, when you write, you will get the other variables like number of students, you can give it a number. Okay, or you can also call the function S1 dot examination, okay, S2 dot examination, and S3 dot examination. Right, so if I call this function examination, this will be called. If in this function I am printing school conducting exam and the name of the school. So when S1 calls the examination function, okay, when S1 will call the examination function will print the name of S1. Okay, for S2 this will print the name of S2. So when you run this code, you will get an output like this: school conducting exam ABC, then XYZ, then M and O. Every object will have its own set of variables and functions. Although the class is one, by creating multiple objects of this class, right, you can have a different state for every class object, right, fine, a different value. But there is a difference between object and references. A reference can change. Suppose if I write over here S1 equals to S3 and I print this again, s1 dot examination, s2 dot examination, s3. So s1 equals to s3 means that s1 will not point to this object now. S1 will start pointing towards the object to which S3 is pointing. So with S1 and S3 both, you can read the values of the third object. So when you run this, so S1 also prints MNO and S3 also prints MNO. No, S3 will not point to S1. S1 will, when you write in Java int x equals to 9, you put 9 in x, not x and 9. So S3 will be, S1 will start pointing towards where S3 is there. Okay? Right? Fine. So this is how it works. Okay, this is how it works. Right, references are different than objects. This is main point to note. Alright, now if I go back, I had written the command new Firefox driver on the top. Over here I am creating the object of one of the classes in Selenium which is responsible to open Firefox window. Okay, so when you create the object, the window opens, and if you give it a reference, Firefox driver f equals to new Firefox driver, with this f you can, if you write f dot, you can access the features of the Firefox driver class. For example, one of the functions is get. You can give the URL over here and Firefox will navigate to that URL, say http any website msn.com. Look, giving the protocol is important. If you don't give the protocol, it's not QTP where you don't give the protocol. Okay, you have to give the protocol. F dot get http msn.com. So when you run this, it will open the browser and it will take you to msn.com. Okay, so everything is inbuilt. There is nothing new, there is no rocket science involved or anything. Okay, right. You have to learn the inbuilt features. You need to learn the concepts of object oriented programming. Probably on the next line, if I make f point towards a new Firefox driver, then again a new Firefox will open up. Okay, so if I run this will open one Firefox, take it to msn.com, right, and then in the end it will, hold on, open a new browser after that. You see that? Okay, right, then f will control the new browser. Alright, so this is how it works. Fine, right. Now this is just the basic which I have covered. Okay, these are just the basics. Fine. Anybody with any questions till now? Anyone, please feel free to ask if you have any question on the batch or on the course or what all we will be covering or on the current topic which we just discussed, right? Okay, the crux is that on the day one I want you to understand that we need to understand the documentation of Selenium, because everything in Selenium is pre-made. You need to understand those pre-made. Yeah, Naina, tell me what questions you have. So you can use the WebEx chat on the top. You can ping me on Skype, okay, or you move your mouse on the top, you'll see the chat option, or you can unmute yourself and ask me a question. Right.
What are the other classes we need to get it done before we enroll for these classes, as you said it earlier?
Look, as I told you earlier, Like if you are a person who has never done programming, you don't even know for loop, you don't even know arrays, functions, okay, then what I recommend people is that buy the access to the video tutorials which are there on the website. Like many people over here are the ones who have already taken the videos and then they have come for the class. Okay, if you go to qtpselenium.com, under Selenium training section you will see videos. Okay, you get the access to them, you buy them, and then later on, probably in the month of Feb, you can join the batch by paying the remaining fees. So when you watch the videos and come to the class, it helps a lot. In class, I cannot take Java in that depth which I have taken in the videos, because I have a limited time over here and I also have to teach you WebDriver and all. So in the class I kind of take it parallelly. Okay, but so if you look at the videos, the first 7 videos are only on Java language, right? So it helps a lot when you do that. Yeah. Anyways, anybody else having any question?
Swapnali.
Yeah.
In the program which you have created now, you have created the reference like f is equal to new Firefox driver.
Yeah.
So and you have created and you have given a command like if second time also taking the same reference for the second Firefox driver.
Mm.
So can we use the same f like two times like first time you have created Firefox driver f is equal
This
to
is my browser 1.
that was the first time.
This is my browser 1. This is my browser 2.
So we can use the same reference for the two browsers like browser 1 and browser
No,
2 also.
once you go on browser 2, you cannot come back to browser 1.
Okay.
You
So
cannot come back.
once it executes the first msn.com,
Yeah.
then automatically it will execute the second browser and
Yeah.
it doesn't object because of the same reference.
Yes. Probably if you want to come back to the first browser, you can write Firefox browser, say f1 equals to f. So the f1 will start pointing to MSN.
Okay.
With f1 you can use MSN and then you start making f point towards there. Right.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, fine, fine, Shashi. Yeah. Anybody with any other question? Right. I'll not go ahead from here today, okay, because this is the first stage. It was just an introduction. Tomorrow we'll be going into the depth of object-oriented programming. We'll be studying the basics of drivers like Firefox driver, iDrivers and all, and we'll also study about interfaces, okay, and how they are used with Selenium WebDriver, okay, and what Selenium WebDriver is. WebDriver is basically an interface, okay. So fine then. Alright, I'll mail you the recordings of the day 1 on your email ID. Okay, and you will get a new invitation for tomorrow's class. If you want to join the course, look, to be very honest, I just want to tell you, I don't want to rush up you into a decision, but around 3 or 4 seats are left. I don't think so we'll be able to make it for the first 5 trial classes. I think in first 2 or 3 classes, this is my opinion, or 4 classes, it will be filled up, right? So anyways, yeah, you can reply to the email if you want to join the training, or you can reach us from website. Okay, thank you.